Today I'm going to be listening to Mists, which is a piano piece by Greek composer Xenakis. This is actually our third Xenakis episode. Our first episode of his music was in the orchestra series. Then we looked at one of his pieces in the solo percussion series. And I have a few piano pieces by him. This is the most recent. It's like a late 1970s piece, I think. And or it's 1980. Yeah. This is a composer who's has infamously difficult piano music to play. Um, this one's about 12 minutes long. It starts harmless enough at chord equals 48, but you can see that it's got a lot of polyrhythms here, approaching kind of like new complexity, but maybe a bit more like conceptually restrained. Um, that could be an interesting essay, just like trying to connect the new complexity movement to the work of Xenakis, which is probably its closest predecessor, I would say. This piece is dedicated to pianist Roger Woodward, who I think, uh, yeah, I was right. Yeah, Triadic Memories, which is a recent episode on the channel, was also dedicated to Roger Woodward. So I guess I sort of talked a little bit about him in that episode. I'm not going to do that here. Um, yeah, I don't know what to expect really with this one. So I'll put a link to the recording in the video description, and I'll see you in 12 minutes because I gotta get on with my day here. Okay, yeah, so this was admittedly, I was listening to a MIDI performance. So if that doesn't suit your fancy, I would just listen to a real human playing it. Um, it definitely sounds very computer generated, although it's possible that Xenakis has stitched together a couple different things that have been pre-generated. It has this feeling of like being kind of stitched together. It alternates between this very strict polyrhythmic stuff and then more loose kind of like um, approximate rhythm stuff. Um, I would guess that the movement of pitches throughout the range of the instrument is sort of dictated by gas laws, or maybe he like starts different lines of music at certain points and then has some sort of mathematical formula that's like deciding how it turns into a line of music. Um, and yeah, it's cool. I like this moment where we have two voices in contrary motion and they're weaving out these like almost diamond shapes. It's very interesting on the page. I think the most successful parts of the piece is probably the first section leading up to this new idea on page 4. After that point, it kind of loses me a little bit. Um, but yeah, I mean, it sounds computer generated, but you have to keep in mind that this is like in the very early days of computation, 1980. So no one at this time was doing anything like this with music. I'm sure you could copy it nowadays pretty easily with this or that piece of technology, but you have to admire how original it is. Um, I neglected to pull up this Wikipedia article on the piece. So it was commissioned by Roger Woodward, um, and it's his third solo piano work. So Ronald Squibbs identifies the source of pitch material in this piece as a scale spanning the range of the entire piano. So you have to imagine it's this sort of artificial scale that's probably not built on octaves, octave divisions. It's dividing the piano up in a different way. There's three main types of textures: continuous random walks, discontinuous random walks, and arborescences, which are lines that can branch out into more lines, which I think characterizes this section, this type of stuff. Material from this piece was reused in Kekrops, which was composed in 1986, and also Hommage à Ravel, which was another piano piece written in 87. This is Xenakis' final work for piano. I think it's not very successful. It's probably my least favorite of his piano pieces. And I don't think I have the score to it either. There's some critical reception here. I don't think it's that interesting. His music has always been controversial, so that's sort of what you get there. So yeah, hopefully this is a nice introduction to Xenakis' piano music. The next piece in the series will be another Morton Feldman piece, but this one's from 1977.